much. First up, Never Make a Giant Mad is the second book in the Felix and Calcite series. These are funny early readers graphic novels from Super Potato creator Artur LaPerla. In this volume, Felix returns to the land of the trolls in search of his favorite toy, a robot dog that walked off into the tunnel between his human world and the troll world. And with a little help from an all-seeing troll witch, Felix and Calcite get close to finding the toy. That's when they learn a big problem is standing in their way. That's Garganto, a giant who guards the path ahead. Garganto is set on letting no one get through. As we learn later, this is his burden due to being a forgotten about bouncer for a long ago concluded giant party. He tries to keep Felix and Calcite from crossing his gorge, but Calcite won't take no for an answer, and when Felix's toy dog reappears to help, the friends triumph over this giant obstacle. Next slide, please. Unretouchable is a young adult graphic novel debut from visual artist Sophia Smosey, and it presents a thoughtful take on social media and our image-conscious society. In lively black and white artwork, Sophia tells the story of Olive, who's just out of high school and is spending the summer before art school helping one of the fashion industry's elite digital imaging specialists. To start, she helps out at photoshoots, but she learns that taking pictures is really only the first step. She discovers the violent verbs of the image retouching process, like cut, crop, slice, and lasso, and the secrets behind virtual models. We're totally digital celebrity influencers. As the summer goes on, Olive grows more self-conscious about her own appearance, starts to wonder about the ethics of the work she's doing behind the scenes, and tries to see if it's possible to quit the internet outright. But finally, she starts to embrace both herself and the complications of life, arriving in a way to create images and express herself on her own terms. In the end, in addition to providing a window into the little seen world of fashion image retouching, Unretouchable is a tribute to self-acceptance, and Sophia shares a story in a quirky style that's full of fun, small details, page by page. Next slide, please. Notes from a Sickbed is another upper YA project, this time a graphic memoir from author-artist Tessa Brunton. Notes from a Sickbed collects a set of shorter comics Tessa did under the same name, as well as some never-before-seen pieces, and together they tell the story of her experience with chronic illness across nearly a decade. In 2009, Tessa experienced the first symptoms of myalgic encephalomyelitis, also known as chronic fatigue syndrome, and she spent much of the next 8 years housebound without a totally effective way to reduce her symptoms. Later in 2017, she began making gains there. Soon started creating the first installments of this graphic memoir. The pieces here approach chronic illness with a lot of honesty, imagination, sometimes humor. Part of what's great about the book is that it paints a picture of someone with a really active mind and wit. And the visual elements of the project really bring that to life, despite the figure of Tessa being static some of the time. And regarding the specific condition, myalgic encephalomyelitis is something that's still being understood, hence Tessa's long process of working to manage her symptoms of fatigue. So this book gives readers insight into a sometimes misunderstood or little understood experience, in addition to insight into one artist's inner life and experiences. I think folks will really like it. And next slide. A Game for Swallows, To Leave, To Die, To Return. The expanded edition. This, of course, is a familiar book, one Lerner first published in 2012. It's also a graphic memoir set in the mid-1980s in East Beirut during the Lebanese Civil War. And it follows a younger version of the author, Zina, and her brother as the neighbors in their apartment building try to keep the kids feeling safe and hopeful on a day when their parents don't return home. The original edition of Game for Swallows received stateside accolades, including ALA Notable Children's Books, Batchelder Honor Book, and YALSA Great Graphic Novels for Teens. And this expanded edition features a new illustrated afterword as Abir Shed reflects on the meaning of her memoir's title, the graffiti that inspired it, and the future of Beirut. Edouard Gauvin, the book's original translator and one of the most decorated graphic novel translators anywhere, is back as well for this new section. Altogether, it makes for a timely update to a best-selling and award-winning graphic novel, and one that's just a continued testament to community's power in challenging times. Super Potato's all-night dinosaur fight. This is another familiar entry on the list. And here in Book 9, you cannot accuse creator Artur Laperla of ever taking his foot off the gas. He continues to really revel in the humor and the absurdity of his world of silly heroes and villains. He's always finding a new way to go over the top. And in this volume, sinister scientist Militia the Malignant has been tasked to capture Super Potato because the world's richest girl wants him as a pet. And her plan is to send dinosaur after dinosaur after dinosaur after Super Potato, requiring him to fight off dozens of prehistoric creatures until he is very badly sleep deprived. This is the first book to ask, how do you thwart a T-Rex on 42 hours with no rest? But as always, Super Potato triumphs in the end. Next slide. Next fall, The Wolf in Underpants returns to the list with the fourth book in this series. The Wolf in Underpants breaks free. This one is another irreverent comedic fable, this time about the things in life that matter most. And the story begins with the wolf arrested under suspicion of being a thief. The problem is he has coins in his pocket, but no clear job, and he won't say where he got them. So while the wolf plots a prison break, his captors go around the forest and hear one animal after another talk about how the wolf has helped them out without taking any money. Eventually, we learn that some grateful mice have been slipping coins into the wolf's pocket while he's asleep, and the wolf, convinced his underpants were magic, was too bashful to say anything. So it's another very funny, very quirky entry in the series, this time with a lesson that life rewards people who help others, even if they don't ask for anything in return. And finally, Timothy Dinoman Saves the Cat. This is a middle grade debut at the start of a 2-book Timothy Dinoman series, a colorful, humorous spy adventure project. The book is full of action and comedy, and it's a great fit for either readers looking for the next step after books like John Patrick Green's Investigators, or readers still too young for James Bond and Jason Bourne. Timothy is a talking iguanodon, as well as a globe-trotting spy, and an exceedingly nice guy and good friend. In this case, Timothy and his friend Jen are figuring out what a group of supervillains wanted with stolen outer space satellite technology, and discover a plot to hold the whole planet hostage. Timothy also discovers a very charming cat along the way, leading to discussions of whether it's appropriate for a busy, often in danger spy to have a house pet. The story takes our hero across locations including a mountain fortress, a giant blimp, and a diner with great pancakes. It's just very bouncy and clever and good-natured, with author-artist Steve Thewson mixing jokes and blockbuster-style action sequences that middle-grade readers are going to laugh along to and thrill along to in equal measure. And I believe that's it for GU. On to Amy.
All right.